Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of AI Amigos Show. We got a lot of stuff packed. I've got here with my friend, your good friend Jin Chao. Welcome, Jin Chao, and welcome
Hello.
everyone.
Hi, James.
We got a lot of good stuff today, Jin Chao, to talk
Oh, yeah.
about.
A lot of good stuff. A lot of
But
good stuff.
before we dive into all of that, just remember Tequila AI, sponsored by Tequila AI. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah, right there, right next to you, right over your shoulder there. So if I point to you, yeah, right there, Jin Chao, on yours. It's so funny for me anyway, doing that backwards look. But
Yeah.
so this week in AI, I mean, there's always something happening in AI, but two
Mhm.
things happen individually that alone, separately, they'd be their own top story, but together they tell you something important that's happening in where the
Mhm.
industry is heading.
Yeah.
So first of all, Anthropic accidentally shipped their source code,
Yeah.
their most popular product, to the internet when they pushed on the was it npm, they pushed it on there, and yeah, and within days threat actors were using it to spread malware. So yeah, and at the same time Google released Gemma 4, which is this is what I really want to get into, because that's, you and I talked about this before, Jinchan. I'm really excited about to talk about this topic because I think it's going to be really really cool. Because I mean, last week I talked about how Claude, we're hitting those tokens faster, so they get you
Yeah.
addicted to it first,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden now they've introduced it dynamic pricing. So it's not only the usage has been dropped, but also if you use it during certain times of the day, you're going to be using a lot more tokens.
Oh,
So
yeah. That's
yeah,
not good.
yeah, so if you're operating somewhere between, I believe it's 9 a.m. and
Yeah.
it's 1 p.m. Irish time here anyway, from 1 to
Hmm.
4 or 5 o'clock, those 4 hours,
Yeah.
you're going to be using, like, your tokens will be gone like that, man. And
Jesus.
but
Not
I
just the diesel price went up, right?
yeah,
The
exactly.
total price went up too.
I think we need to go on Connell Street and have a protest there too for our
Protest
tokens, man.
tokens.
But I found a little secret. Don't tell anyone, okay, Jin Chao? So what I do when I wake up, so what they do is they give you like these 4 hour. I don't know if you've seen. They give you 4 hour windows of work, and then they reset the tokens, and then you have your weekly tokens. So you have your daily tokens within four, and then it goes into the weekly. So in the morning when I wake up, I get onto my phone first thing,
Uh-huh.
and so like when I'm up at 8, I'll put in, like, something like, what's the weather today, something like that, and that
Yeah.
opens the context window.
Uh-huh.
So that then goes from 8 a.m. till noon. So when I
Oh,
start working at 10, I've only got 2 hours rather than from 10 to 2. Now I've got 10 to 12. You see what I'm doing?
you need to have those agent to open the windows.
I'll
Put
get
it
my
in
claw
the
bot to do that. How about that? I'll get my claw bot to go in there and get there. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But this
Because
Gemma 4, apparently it's a frontier tier open model that you can use on Mac Minis.
uh,
There's also the small PCs that AMD is put together, that's
yeah,
to compete with the Mac Mini because of the M4 chip, and we'll talk more about that.
yeah.
Where you can use it free with no API keys. So a
Uh-huh.
lot to cover. So we'll get right into this, Chin Chow. The first thing in our segment here is the Claude Code leak.
Yeah.
So what actually happened there? So looking at that, on the 31st of March, about 60 megabytes of JavaScript source map file
Uh-huh.
intended for internal debugging was accidentally included uh,
Hmm.
on the npm package, and it went out public.
Yeah. That's the internal logic of how cloud code or cloud works. How does that smart system works? Like I would love to see that.
You and I both, brother. When I heard that, I mean, it was late at night. Well, the next day when I woke up, it was by 4:23 in the morning. An
Mhm.
intern at Solar Labs name, they gave me his
You
name.
yeah,
Uh,
you wouldn't you wouldn't easily finding it because it's to a package a manager. Use the npm you install, and then unless like this person called Farais or something on X posted at the first time, and he actually went into the package manager, see the code in there. So you have to drill into the source code, and I actually find
And
it.
you can find it.
Yeah, it's not easy to find, but once you post it out, people are easily finding it. You know.
Yeah, you've beaten the path through the forest, and now you go, here it is, and they can get in there.
Mhm.
They were basically just posted it on X, and within hours, there's roughly around 512,000 lines of code base, and then it was mirrored on GitHub and analyzed by thousands of developers.
I think that's the reason why the token get more expensive. You see all those newer models like OpenAI 5, 5.1, 5.2, whatever, all the way up to 5.4. When they get started, I suspect it's not the model itself, it's the backend system, like what they use the code
framework.
Yeah, the code itself to form a logic where you're going from this place, that place. So in this whole process, maybe that's why the internal token used for every question is extremely high. And for them to get the money worth, so they jack up a token price. It's not specifically the token itself, it's the thinking model behind it, it's the agentic system they have behind it to form the whole process. I think that's the most important, what people want to see. How do they do it?
They call it the agentic harness, is what they call it.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to get it, Jin Chao. Did you get it? I mean, geez.
No. I might call my Chinese friend to see what they have then.
I saw like 14,000 people download it. So I went to my computer in the morning and I was going to download it. But the problem is I stopped myself because I was like, now at this stage, it's, if I don't download it, there'll be something. And sure enough, pretty much there was issues in regards to this.
I don't know. I didn't try. Maybe I have it. I use npm downloaded the Claude Code itself before. Maybe not.
It's the second time it's happened. For a company that talks a lot about security, I mean, maybe they're open source. I don't know.
The open Claude, you never know. They change their name.
I mean, they've got what, 60 billion in revenues now. So I mean,
I don't know. Did Claude had a case before with Pentagon? They didn't win with. Was that OpenAI or was that Claude? They lost the contract.
That was Claude. Yeah, that was what do you call it? Anthropic.
Conspiracy going on here.
Yeah. They got someone working in there. You never know. Jin Chao never made that connection.
And then it says, "Oh, I'm secure," and all of that fighting with Pentagon. Next thing you know, call the guy, leak the code. Security is the issue. Then you never know.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of stuff in there that been like Kairos, Auto Dream, Undercover Mode, which is interesting, and then Capybara or Mythos. That's a really big one. And in fact, there's a lot about that. The Mythos, that there's an issue that we're talking about, that they don't want to release that straight away because of a lot of security issues. Not with them, but they would be able to hack banks and use AI. So they want to give time for banks and organizations. They name names, or not name names, but they're saying certain organizations. And obviously, they're not going to give that away for free. They're going to go to those organizations and say, you've got a security vulnerability. We'll sell you. They're selling a software. I can't remember. It was a Glass or something. I don't know the name of it. Anyway, they want to sell that first.
I always like to take the conspiracy side as well. Like, what if Claude is working on totally different opposite, but release the code to competitors see it and be like, oh, they were doing this. Let's put more money and research on this side, but they secretly doing something totally different. Who knows?
Well, yeah. I mean, look what's happened. I mean, and I mean, how does this happen? You would have thought from the first one they would have changed a few things here and there. So yeah, I could see where you're coming from on that. There could be something happening in the background that we're not aware of, right? Some kind of Talking
about Claude, right? They don't have a bot like we using Claude to push the commit and writing the memories, and like I mean memories for the Claude to understand the current. You can look the before commit, and then all the file changes, update the memory, and then put those message into the git push, right?
Yeah.
But like it didn't find it. Like you suddenly add like thousands of file. When you commit it, you don't see that. That's very strange. That's why I was kind of like,
Something's not right. Yeah, right.
yeah, it could be always there, just nobody look. It could be. Who
Well,
knows?
I mean, that's the thing is if you think about like your own organization and when you're running commits, like we talked about now, like, verifying and like a lot of stuff's going to AI, if you talk about like, vibe coding and how that works.
Yeah.
And so you say, well, yeah, that's all working within the organization, but, still you need to make sure that things don't get out that shouldn't be getting out. You know what I mean? And we're,
Definitely.
we're very regulated here with GDPR, but, equally as well. I mean, in Claude's case, there was no client data that went out, but nonetheless, their secret sauce got out. That's the problem. And so we're going to see Claude, lookalikes coming out really soon with if not already, they'll be coming out really soon.
All different names.
Well, so because of all of that, now going to the next part is Google. This has released a few models. They released the new Gemini 2.0, which is big, but the Gemma 4 is the one.
Gemini 2.0.
Yeah, they released the what was the latest model?
I don't think it's 2.0.
Here, let's see here. Pull it out. I'll pull it up here.
But Gemma is the one I used a tiny bit before. They used to have Gemma 3.1, and now it's 4. Yeah, if anybody ever used it on OpenRoute.ai, it's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, they released 3.1. That was in February, so that's the latest one right now. I was seeing something there that they're releasing, but Gemma's come out 4.
Yeah, Gemma is the small model. You can't use it in the Gemini console. You don't have that. That's the API models. You can use open weight ones. Yeah,
it's open weight models. Yeah, and it's the same research behind the Gemini 3, and it's available under the Apache 2 licenses. So they've got 4 different sizes you can use, and you can use with different devices. And that's why one of the things we talked about there is Mac Minis. A lot of people are running their LLMs locally rather than running it on or using like Claude or ChatGPT or any OpenAI. You're going to just run it locally.
But my suggestion is don't run it. If you wanted to get a local one running, you needed to know what you're doing first and buying a larger one. To be honest, buy a Mac Studio because they start with 32 gig. You can easily spec up to 64 or 128 gig. And I think
it's all built in, right? Well, now the M5 chips have come out, so it's all built into the memory, so you don't have to use like into GPUs. It's all built into the memory, into the CPU, and it works much faster. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I mean, I looked into this back 2024, start of 2025. I wanted to buy a Mac Studio AI because I watched the YouTube video talking about this guy was fine tuning on his 64 gig Mac Studio AI. It was M1 Max Pro at that time. I was thinking about buying one, but I bought a MacBook instead to test it, because at that time I do see a trend definitely for this. It's a unified memory, right? You're talking about the good CPU, GPU, NVIDIA like RTX 470 or 480, 4090 even that time was probably $2,000. You
Easy.
need at least two of them to get to 24 gig. So sometime you might need three. And then for Mac Mini to have 64 straight away for the price is considered cheap. But brand new one was 4,000. But I still was saying that time it was cheap if you wanted to machine learning.
When Apple walked away from Intel, because they used to have the Intel chips and they went to their own M chips, a lot of people in the industry saw that as a huge mistake.
Yeah, but
look where we are now.
It was good. The reason why it's taking off is people start to realizing now about that. And to be honest, a year and a half ago, because they released their new Apple chip, right? That time the Python, if you use machine learning, you use Python package a lot. It was really good with the Apple chip. I have so many issues just to code different things. I remember on my first Mac laptop with the Apple Silicon chip, but now it's getting better, support better. Even if you are using local one like a 2 billion or 3 billion parameter local LLM, the Olama released version 0.19. It supports native MLX now. So what does that mean is the Chinese company released the optimization for Apple Silicon chip to run the local LLM. So on 0.19, you can run the local like model on the Apple a lot faster.
Yeah.
So that's on 0.19. I haven't tried it yet, but I heard it was good.
When you look at, you saying like 24 gigabytes, I mean, what kind of you're saying you could run it at least 60 billion parameters?
You could, but the thing on that is you can run 24 gig, you can run 16. You even can run, if you push hard, 20, but it will be slow. But what drive down, you have to find a healthy balance is the context window. Yeah. So you can have a 7 billion parameter with a context window of the full 256K, but that will consume you at least 30 to 40 gig straight away. So the context window is the key.
Okay.
So that's what I find out when I was running on my Mac Mini. I was like, 7 billion, I can run it okay. Let me have the full context window. I said, why is it so slow? I look at the memory, I push all the memory from that to my hard drive to store. It was like 20 or 30 gig.
So looking at the context window as compared to, let's say, memory. I mean, the context, like when we see, MCP, model context protocols, and basically you're putting all that context in it. So when you ask a question, you don't have to repeat it and explain and things like that, but it doesn't remember what you asked 2 days ago, but it needs that context to be able to answer your question.
In this case, the context window means how much information I can put it in one go, right? So that's the problem. If we're looking into the machine learning, right? If you know, like in those API, we have temperature, we have top K, we have all the parameters, right? So the top K, and then I was telling you today about the top K is basically how many parameters considered every next word. So like I am, like there's 250 options, and you choose one, and then 250 options or something like that. So just thinking about if you put in a context window at 256, that many character, every character next one, the answering of that, they have to considering the possibility, and then it suddenly just multiply, like get really big.
It's exponential. Yeah. I mean, if you consider, like, you look at what the models are today. So like if you look at, like Opus 4.6, or we talked about Gemini Pro 3.1, those models there, they've got, I would say, trillions of parameters, I would think.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like if you get used to using the APIs or the console, when you trying to buy an investment and putting some money to get a Mac Mini, the cheapest one is in Ireland is 724 or ish, around that. And then if you want a larger, memory band, they jump up 400 each band or 500, I don't know. Because it's unified memory, they have to ship with it. You can't upgrade yourself, right?
Yeah.
And then that's quite a significant input. But for that amount of money, you could play with like really cheap tokens on open router for significantly cheaper. Like, I don't see really the point to do that, to be honest. Once you know what you want and understand how to do all those things, and then maybe you have specific use case, you can buy one and run it. But for people just jumping and buy one and try it out, I think it's a waste of money, unless you do need a computer, so why not?
So what you're saying, though, if you think about it, it's like what you're saying is that it's an isolated standalone computer. It's not one that I have that I'm using. So like I can't use my laptop or my desktop simultaneously, because that's being used for the model itself, right?
Yeah.
And so then you look and say, okay, well, how many people can access that? But that's one thing I was thinking. But really what I've been thinking about is that when ChatGPT first came out, their first model, I would think that the models that we have now, the local models, will be better than they were then. Would you think that?
GPT-3?
Well, I mean, remember when it first came out, ChatGPT first came out. This was what, 2022, going to 2023.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, like they use the called distillation, right, to shrink those models with 80% of capability of the bigger model. So they keep shrinking. They were talking about like very soon, probably this year or next year, we will have those 1 billion or 2 billion parameters running on phones as their own stuff.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that, yeah.
Very, 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 very soon. Very soon.
Yeah.
So
imagine that, yeah. So because one of the big features, or one of the big things you think about, like running the Mac Mini. So we're talking about, well, first of all, you're not paying a subscription, so you have to outweigh what my subscription costs versus my upfront cost of buying a machine, and then the running cost of it.
Yeah.
But also security and safety. I mean, everything is, you don't have to worry about a leak or anything getting out. Well, what I mean is, like, if something like gets out into the public, that's a big thing, that customer data, all of that is all local.
Yeah, I still think Mac Mini, if you want to properly do something like coding or something to have your local ones, and not just some simple one to answer question, do a little bit of stuff. The Mac Studio will be better bet, because they have more cores on the GPU, and standardized memory is start from 32, and next level is 64. 128, you can run anything with it. You can run at least a 70 billion model.
Imagine
on it, no problem. For small context window. I mean, for the price of 128, probably for 2 or 3 grand, you can get one. But if you want to build that computer, and then at the same time, if you spend 2 or 3 grand, why wouldn't you get one of those NVIDIA? They release those things 3 grand. Special computer, right? That's only 3 grand.
That's right. I saw that. Also, AMD Ryzen's going in with the AI Max. They're jumping into it as well.
They specifically build with GPT in mind, just doing this kind of things. And then you will think about, oh, why don't I go for the other one? So there's no really answer for it.
Well, I mean, that's an interesting thing. If you think about it, like if you have a node of them, like 4 or 5 computers, and you plug them together, and rather than get one real big one, sometimes you can do that, and you can distribute the resources out amongst those computers rather than have one run it all in one go.
Yeah, you could. You're touching on an area. First, we need 5 people who bought one of them.
So if you buy one, let us know, and we can add you to the nodes.
That's an interesting point, right? That's because we know the Kubernetes is using a lot of those stuff. People are using Kubernetes, but a lot of people doesn't know is Kubernetes is big thing in the training of the model, fine tuning the models. Yeah. What happened is they release the job to all different pods, and then the pods itself are connected to GPU. This is in the AWS environment right now there's a service use Kubernetes and all that to train models. So the training task was sent into different pods with GPU at the back end to run those all together. So people, DevOps who knows Kubernetes a little bit more, very soon they're going to be in big use of training and pipeline and all that. I was researching a little bit AWS site. They were using something like that. I forgot the name of it. Yeah, but they were using. This is talking about the distributed compute, like what you're saying there.
Yeah. That's, I mean, that's big, like in big data. That's why I know that, because in big data, you know,
Yeah.
if you use Spark, you know, like PySpark, you know, it's built on Apache where you
It was using Spark as well, but like the infrastructure level is using Kubernetes to actually spread out the task. Yeah. So
that's pretty cool. I mean, I always think about, like, when you stack them, it always seems to make it better than one big one is if you have multiple ones. It makes more sense to have them, because if one goes out, if you only have one big one and that one goes out, then it's gone. But if you have 4 or 5, you know, one goes out, you're still running, you know, 80% if you have 5, or 25, you know, 75%, and then just buy another one, and you know, and you might wind up spending less. I don't know. So anyway,
well, that's the old time when you, sorry, not old time. Before Mac Mini, all those kind of memory coming in, and people have to connect their GPUs to actually calculate. Like my friends is in London, he's a professor about for satellite, for working on satellites and stuff, and like this is probably 2020, 2021, 2022. So his student borrowed his graphics card and put all together, you know, like a four GPU card. It looks like a mining machine, but it was actually calculating the trajectories and stuff for them to do. And then he said he never get his card back. He couldn't play games.
Well, I saw this is going back to, like, and this is, you know, even talking about, like, you know, PySpark and distributed systems. But even like when they were building the initial times of start of drones, and they're big now, but going back, you know, 10, 12 years ago, they weren't as large, and they were wanting to build a big camera that they could use in the drone. It can focus in, and so they were going to build this one big camera. But they found that if they put, like, the ones you throw away in your phone that your mobile phone has, those little cameras, if you just put all of these all together and make an array of them, it gives you high quality, you know, and it's just, and it's cheap. It's not like you have to spend make this big camera. So that is interesting how that distributed system, and that's why I'm thinking, like, in the AI here, like if you run 4, 5, 6 Mac Minis together, that you might be able to get where you want to get to.
You could. There's a lot of configuration. That's kind of expensive way to learn a cluster, because people were learning Kubernetes used to put all the Raspberry together and connect it with one of those Ethernet hub, like a really cheap one, Ethernet plug into to learn networking, to learn Kubernetes and all that sort of stuff. You can, definitely do it. Back to this point is, like, my suggestion to people is don't buy that, and get an open router subscription, and just they have a lot of free models you can use, and use them, because if you code, use them. If you have NNN, you don't use them, because somehow there's some issue with free model. It never integrated with NNN or any other platform. Good.
That's interesting.
Don't let you to use a free one, but when you're coding, you could. So just
do it connected to your IDE. So if you have a Visual Studio.
Yeah, you could, but if you drop down, I tried on multiple platforms. If it's pre-configured, the free one doesn't really work. I don't know, it's the format, how they made a name or something. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. IDE doesn't work. The free ones I'm talking about. But if you code, you can request the free one, and you have response and coming in and back all the time. So I was using that, but there's plenty of free model let you try, so people can use it. And then plus all the Chinese models out there, if you're just coding, not for company, for a little bit, doing a little bit stuff yourself, you can try that first, making sure your flow works. And then if you worry about security, then buy a Mac Mini if you wanted to. At least you understand how to do something.
Max or Kimi or DeepSeek or any of those kind of
Yeah.
Okay.
Do that first, and at least you don't put in like 800,000 or two grand into a computer.
That could be Okay, well, great conversation today and great things to talk about. So I'd be interested to see how Gemma 4 works and see if anyone's has put that together. Let us know and keep the conversation going. And we really appreciate your time. Jinshao, thank you. Remember, guys, before we sign off, sponsored by Tequila AI. All right. All right. See you guys next week.
Bye now.